Hello, folks, and thank you for listening to this Ask Resource Center webinar. Today, we are pleased to host Kim Carwalt, a coordinator with the Easter Seals, Iowa Assistive Technology Center. She's involved with overseeing services for adults and children with disabilities and special needs and their families across the state of Iowa. Kim holds a Bachelor of Science degree in Education from Iowa State University, as well as a master's degree in rehabilitation counseling from Drake University, and she's also a certified rehabilitation counselor. In today's webinar, Kim will be sharing assistive technology supports for babies and toddlers who are deaf and hard of hearing. And now I'm going to turn it over to our presenter. Kim, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you so much. And I just want to confirm you can see my screen okay?
Yeah, I am going to go ahead and swap it. I believe. There we go.
Perfect. Well, welcome all to the presentation today on assistive technology support for babies and toddlers with hearing loss. Thank you so much to Ask Resource Center for inviting us to contribute on this topic and allowing us to present to your audience as well. We deeply appreciate it. I wanted to start by talking just briefly about Easter Seals, Iowa in general. We are a statewide nonprofit providing exceptional services to ensure that all people with disabilities or special needs and their families have equal opportunities to live, learn, work, and play in their communities. Although today I will be focusing on one specific program, I do want the audience to be aware that we have a variety of programs and services for individuals of all ages and all abilities, from a child development center to camp respite services out at Camp Sunnyside in Des Moines, to vocational, community living, and other support services for Iowans with disabilities. And should you have any questions, at the bottom of the screen is listed a toll-free number, a TTY number, and an email. These links will get you to an individual with the Assistive Technology Program, and they can support you with any additional questions that you may have. So you might be asking yourself, what is assistive technology? Assistive technology is defined as any piece of equipment, product, system, or service used to increase, maintain, and or improve functional capabilities of individuals with disabilities or limitations. And that's really a mouthful of a definition to say that assistive technology is a catch-all term for anything, whether it be a post-it reminder put on the door to remind someone to take their purse in the morning, or a communication system that's plugged into a power wheelchair for an individual who is nonverbal. It can range from very, very low tech. In the examples I just gave, a post-it note is very, very low tech, to very, very high tech, where a communication device is high tech. There's a photo on this slide that really shows you that assistive technology doesn't have to look like technology. This individual is gardening. The raised garden bed that she is using, that's at her fingertips, is filled with beautiful flowers. It stands about 2 feet high, and this allows her to be able to reach the plants without needing to bend over. She has a handheld trowel that has an ergonomic shape to it to reduce wrist strain for her specifically. She's also seated on a garden cart that has wheels so she can scoot herself without needing to get down on her knees to plant and without needing to be standing and bending over. All assistive technology should be individualized, and I'll say that word a great deal today because when it comes to working with a specific individual, we need to make sure that we're paying attention to the little attributes of that person that make their goals and desires known. We need to make sure that assistive technology, no matter if it's low tech or high tech, is working for that specific person. There's no one device meets all needs for assistive technology. And that's why the services that we offer through our assistive technology program may benefit Iowans from across the state. So when we're speaking about individuals who are deaf and hard of hearing, I want to be sure that we're talking about similar devices to what the individual needs. Obviously, when we are using these words, we recognize that these individuals may be experiencing a limitation or a barrier that really pertains to what they hear. So there are assistive technology devices out there that are purposed to support individuals with what they're hearing as a task. The photo on this slide is of a pocket talker. This is a device that would sit in someone's pocket and would have a little piece that fit inside an individual's ear and would amplify the sound that was in the general vicinity of that individual for them. There's also devices that are alerting devices. This might be something that uses a loud tone or flashing lights or a vibration stimulus rather than relying on something like an alarm clock. So imagine all those sounds throughout the day and how we can modify them so that they are alerting an individual in another manner. A fire alarm could have flashing lights as well as a vibrating egg that sits on a desk or a very, very loud tone of a different pitch for individuals to be able to recognize that as a sound. Telecommunication devices are things like amplified ringers on telephones, a video phone that has a screen, a cat telephone, which an individual can speak and read with incoming messages. Looking at assistive listening devices, microphone and amplifier combinations. This might be an FM radio system, an infrared system, or such as that pocket talker, a personal amplification system. And then we also need to be aware of captioning, making sure that there is text associated with spoken and verbal material to ensure any individual who is hard of hearing can also access that information in an alternative way. As we move to discuss what it looks like for children who are deaf and hard of hearing, I do want to be sure that individuals recognize that there are experts on this topic out there, and I am certainly not an expert on working with children who are deaf and hard of hearing, but I do have a level of expertise when it comes to individualized assessments and conversations surrounding assistive technology. So I will not be speaking outside of my realm of expertise, but do want to give a shout out to making sure that individuals are connecting with the appropriate professional when it comes to this. This might include an audiologist who can really assess the level of hearing in individuals and recommend situations like cochlear implants or hearing aids or whatever else is appropriate for that specific individual. I also want to mention that there are assistive technology devices that accompany hearing aids or cochlear implants, which might be tone hooks or special adhesive, eyeglass bands, or other devices such as Huggy aids and hearing aid clips. These all attempt to either make the hearing aid stay on the ear more accessibly and comfortably, or ensure that it is not pulled off with the hand. They're very supportive for children, as children may not want to have another device attached to their body until they're more accustomed to it. So looking over these devices, just a few things. I obtained all these from babyhearing.org. So it's a wonderful website that can give you an overview of assistive technology, devices to use with hearing aids, as well as how to monitor that conversation with an audiologist. So when it comes to approaching children and toddlers who are deaf or hard of hearing, in regards to assistive technology, I want to fall back on what I said earlier about it being incredibly individualized and thinking about that specific individual, what their level of hearing is, what their interest is, and their age range. I used an image here from Piaget's Developmental Stages to kind of demonstrate what that might look like, where you see the sensorimotor stage at the very bottom, ages 0 to 2, thinking about sensory and motor interactions. What does it look like for 2-year-olds? What are they doing with one another? How are they engaging? What does that play look like? You can move up to pre-operational from 2 to 6 years. Some children may use symbols to represent objects. They might also start pretending or playing play games. And I'm sure all of you can imagine what that play might look like, a play kitchen or camping experience, and what other 2 to 6-year-olds are doing in the surrounding. Moving up to the concrete operational, the child can think logically about concrete objects and also beginning to understand conversation. So ensuring that individuals who are deaf and hard of hearing are still exposed to conversation and still able to engage with peers on that. 12 years and above in that formal operational, making sure that there's the opportunity to reason abstractly and to think hypothetically. When it comes to assistive technology, this may look a variety of ways. Going back to those stages, think about conversation, communication, and that play. What are those specific activities? If there's a child that is deaf or hard of hearing that is going to an inclusive daycare setting, what are the activities that are being performed in that setting, and how can they be modified for nonverbal support? So are they a visual schedule for morning routine, as this image demonstrates, where there's a picture associated with specific activities? The verbiage can also be included on this picture, as well as using sign language to help create that line of understanding for a toddler as to, this is the activity, this is the action I'm doing while holding the toothbrush, physically brushing their teeth. This is the image that's associated with it for this specific time period. These are the words, even if they're not able to read the words yet, still recognizing those symbols. And this is the sign for brushing my teeth. There can also be alternative sensory input. So think back on some of those vibrations, those flashing lights, or tactiles to replace those sounds associated with an action. If everybody just lays their hand on their chest and speaks out loud, you'll feel that your chest vibrates with your words. So making sure that even when speaking, you can associate what's being said with that movement, have some sort of sensory input. I also included a link for deafchildren.org, which has some really wonderful visual language and parent and family support systems on that side. So there's also many barriers for individuals who might be deaf or hard of hearing and engaging with their peers. I brought just a couple of devices and images to this slide to help lead conversation around this. The first one in the upper left-hand corner is the communication purse. This is a device that is just a purse. If you're not comfortable with a purse, you can replicate a similar structure using a wallet or just an envelope. But inside of this purse are sleeves of visual calendars or words, commands, questions. In my personal experience, I used one of these with an individual who was nonverbal, but it can be also used for individuals who may not be able to hear responses or questions from individuals. It can be developed on an individual basis for the specific interactions that they might have. If they are engaging in a daycare, it can be images of the specific activities, of the restroom, of food, so that when they are requesting an item, as they're developing sign language and those communication skills, they can use it in conjunction with something like this to ensure that they are able to communicate with others, including peers who might not be ready to learn the sign language right away, but that there's still a level of understanding. That other image, which is more in the middle of the slide, is a communication game created by Weber. It's called the Functional Communication Game. It's a board game that uses nonverbal communication as an activity. So it operates just like a typical board game, but you don't need to speak to the other individuals who are playing the game. It's all done through the cards and the communication on the cards. You'll see there are some cards that just have images, and there's other cards that have words for a variety of age ranges to be able to utilize it. Those two devices, as well as many other devices, are services that we'll have in our Easter Seals, Iowa Assistive Technology program. So I do want to speak on our services in general, and so that you can engage with our team members should you have any questions, desire to borrow devices, or want to learn more about possibilities of implementing different strategies with your own children, families, or those you engage with. Our Assistive Technology program is the state implementing entity, and we serve all ages in all areas of Iowa. We have an information referral service, a demonstration center, a durable medical equipment loan program, a lending library, and an online assistive technology exchange. I'll go briefly into each of these as I go through, and I just want to remind everyone that there are phone numbers listed at the bottom of the slides, as well as an email should you have any questions about service lines as well. Our information and referral services support any individual in Iowa that has any level of question about assistive technology. On this slide, there is an image of a notebook and a pen. This pen is designed to support individuals who may have difficulty gripping or holding up a typical writing utensil. It has a flat surface that lies against the paper, so that the individual need only slide it across the paper while writing, and the grip stand itself does all the work of lifting the pen off the paper and helping to write. This is an example where someone might see a device like this and be interested in learning more about it, as well as any other assistive technology service, and anyone is eligible to connect with us for information and referral. Our durable medical equipment loan program does run solely off of donated durable medical equipment. Individuals from across the state will donate equipment from wheelchairs, walkers, shower benches, all the way to Hoyer lifts and lift chairs to our durable medical equipment center. On site, staff will sanitize and refurbish to ensure it's in working condition so that they can then loan out to other Iowans that might be in need. We do request that an application be filled out. This application includes approval from a healthcare provider that may also be provided in the form of a prescription. The online applications are available on the Easter Seals, Iowa website, and these loans are with a nominal fee. That image is of a youth step walker, an individual using that youth step walker. For more information on what that fee scale looks like, our website is also supportive, or again, you can contact any of our team members. Our demonstration center is housed at Camp Sunnyside. It includes a variety of resources that individuals can see, put their hands on, and experience, including a dropped countertop kitchen, adaptive kitchen cupboards, an adjustable height desk and workstation, an Amazon Alexa with some accessories, various personal care and home care devices, as well as recreational devices, learning devices, including that communication purse and communication game that I discussed earlier. We also have the opportunity of sitting down and just having a conversation about what assistive technology might mean to a specific individual, or supporting them on getting started with assistive technology. Our demonstration center runs by appointment only, so I encourage anyone to reach out, schedule an opportunity to come out and visit us out here at Camp Sunnyside. Our lending library is an opportunity for Iowans to borrow devices for 30 days free of charge. Any individual with a disability, their family member or representative may access this service, and it's really an opportunity for individuals to try it before they decide to purchase for their own use. Very often, assistive technology is purchased because it looks wonderful online, but when it comes to actual use, whether it be in the home or recreational outside, it may not work as well. This is an image of a magnifier. I'm sure many individuals have experienced magnifiers who are attending this webinar. This specific magnifier may work for somebody, and it may be a great solution to their specific needs and requests. But it is just as likely that this specific magnifier may fail miserably for an individual that's desiring to be able to read a book and magnify that text, as they may need a lesser magnification, a greater magnification, light in addition to the magnification, or they may need an optical character recognition, which is a very high-tech option to magnify that written material and then speak it as well. In our lending library, we could loan a variety of these devices, and the individual could take them home, use them at work or at school again to figure out if it's going to be an appropriate match. Our online assistive technology exchange platform operates as a classified ads resource for Iowans who have equipment that they're no longer in need of. Any Iowan across the state can create a free of charge account on this website. They can either post equipment that they have for sale and identify the price, or they can peruse the ads that have been posted. We also utilize this platform, the AT for All platform, for all of our lending library inventory, as well as our demonstration center inventory. So visitors to this platform can not only see what other Iowans have posted for sale, but also what our lending library and demonstration center have to offer. It's searchable with a search box, so you can type in communication devices, you can type in hard of hearing devices, all sorts of things that you might be looking for to see if we have something similar to what you're hoping to try out. I also want the audience to be aware of many resources that exist for individuals across the state. A couple years ago, we developed a booklet to support individuals who have brain injuries. This booklet was created really to help people recognize the various entities that might be involved with an individual with a disability and the different resources for assistive technology. So as you can see, this book does outline where to go and for what. So it can help you connect with physical therapists, speech language pathologists, occupational therapists, recreational therapists, school counselors, area educational agencies, as well as vocational rehabilitation services. A link to an online version of this booklet is within this PowerPoint. It can also be found on our Easter Seals Iowa Assistive Technology website. And it's a booklet for just about anyone looking to learn anything about assistive technology at their own pace. Early access with the Iowa Department of Education is a resource and a partnership between families with young children and providers from the Department of Education, Public Health, Human Services, and Childhood Specialty Clinics. This program is for families and staff to work together to support the coordination of services, as well as offer resources to the family of a toddler or infant. Telecommunications Access Iowa is an Iowa Utility Board program. It offers some vouchers for communication products or packages. Some of those devices I mentioned earlier may be offered still through Telecommunications Access Iowa. They also have in the past offered an iPad program for individuals looking to offer communication supports for individuals. For any questions about Telecommunications Access Iowa, their services or the vouchers that they offer, I encourage you to call them toll free at the number listed on this slide, 1-800-606-5099. 5099. 5099. 5099. 5099. 5099. 5099. 5099. 5099. 5099. 5099. 5099. 5099. 5099. 5099. 5099. 5099. 5099. 5099. 5099. 5099. 5099. 5099. 5099. 5099. 5099. 5099. 5099. 5099. 5099. 5099. 5099. 5099. 5099. 5099. 5099. 5099. 5099. 5099. 5099. 5099. 5099. 5099. 5099. 5099. 5099. 5099. 5099. 5099. 5099. 5099. 5099. 5099. 5099. 5099. 5099. 5099. 5099. 5099. 5099. 5099. 5099. 5099. 5099. 5099. 5099. 5099. 5099. 5099. 5099. 5099. 5099. 5099. 5099. 5099. 5099. 5099. 5099. 5099. 5099. 5099. 5099. 5099. 5099. 5099. 5099. 5099. 5099. 5099. 5099. 5099. 5099. 5099. 5099. Iowa Compass is a resource online that connects individuals with disabilities and their family network to supports within their community. It is a search engine for services and resources, and you can search by diagnosis and by zip code. If you haven't visited this website, I encourage everyone to become familiar with it, as not only does it have that search engine, it also has tip sheets, which include funding assistive technology, community resources, students' rights, and some frequently asked questions. And this is managed by the Center for Disabilities and Development. The Iowa Able Foundation helps Iowans with disabilities and aging with micro lending programs and financial coaching. So if funding the assistive technology is a concern, Iowa Able Foundation may be a resource. ATAP is the Association of Assistive Technology Act Programs. It's a national member-based nonprofit comprised of state Assistive Technology Act programs, and it helps facilitate the coordination of these programs nationally and provide technical assistance. The reason I wanted to include this is because they have phenomenal resources on making materials more accessible for individuals who are deaf and hard of hearing, or advocacy strategies for those who are deaf and hard of hearing. And it may be a fantastic resource for you as you continue your advocacy routes. This slide includes all of our contact information. Again, the same phone numbers you see below are listed again above. It looks like the 1-800 number above is incorrect. Please go with the one below, as well as the TTY number and our email account. Please do reach out with any questions, concerns, even comments for improving our services in the future. I want to thank you all so much for giving me the opportunity to present to you today, and I do hope that our services are a resource for you and that you are able to connect with us in one way or another. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you very much, Kim. That was excellent information that I know many families, across the disability spectrum, across the lifespan, will be able to take advantage of. And as mentioned, or maybe I didn't mention earlier, the PowerPoint presentation that Kim provided for us today will be available on askresource.org/webinars, along with this webinar that will be captioned and available later this week. So thank you again, Kim. We really appreciate you taking the time to share this information with our audience.
Thank you.